Always, we try to ensure that teachers are providing an engaging and interesting environment in the classroom. We encourage a variety of different strategies, pedagogies to ensure things don't get stale.
I'm Agnes Stowicki, Managing Editor with Our Kids. We're speaking with insiders from Canada's leading private and independent schools to bring you insights into school programs, culture, traditions, and leadership. This includes insights from parents, alumni, and administration. This is the Our Kids Insider Perspective.
I love every morning greeting kids coming off buses, coming in the school. I love welcoming them to a new day. I do the same with staff every morning. I meet with the entire staff team before we get going for the day. I love wandering around the school, stopping in classes, looking at projects kids are working on, enjoying really good teaching, positive interactions between students and teachers, positive interactions between students and students. Yeah, those are all things that I love. Well, that's a good question. Well, when I first started at the school, I was a little apprehensive actually because I'm an alumni of the school, and there was at least one teacher who was there when who was still here when I was a student. So I was a little apprehensive at first. I was excited because I had had an outstanding experience in the school myself, and then to be able to provide leadership and direction and vision to that same place was quite exciting for me. And over that time, we've seen, since I've come, that was about 15 years ago, we've seen significant growth, both in numbers and in the program that we have, and in the diversity of students that are represented in this place. So those have all been, it's been fun and exciting to watch kind of those developments happen. Well, I don't know if there's a typical day. Like I said, I meet with staff. On a typical day, I meet with staff every morning, usually about 8:15. We spend 10 minutes together. We disperse to get ready for the day. I'm in the halls from probably about 8:30 to 9 o'clock just to welcome kids in, say hi to them, identify how things are going for them. Usually I'll wander around the school for 15, 20 minutes just to get a sense of how things are going. Then I might go and check in on office staff, maybe go into my office and do a little bit of work there. Typically at break times and lunch times, I try to be out in the halls and in the spaces where students are. And it would be a similar routine for the afternoon where I get some work done in my office, meet with teachers, meet with administrative staff, do planning, and then I try to, when the kids are dismissed, be present in the hallways again to dismiss them. And then after 3:15, we have co-curricular activities. I'll usually wander around and see some of the things that are going on at that point as well. Our mission is to equip students for lives of Christian faith and service. And we talk about three things: is enfolding kids into a community of learning, engaging them with excellent learning, and equipping them to lead in God's kingdom as they leave from here. So I would say for a journey for a typical student is welcoming them in grade 9. And grade 9 is a year of enfolding, making them understand that they are valued, that we know who they are. We begin to understand what their individual gifts and abilities are, helping them connect with other people, other students in the school, and then other teachers and support staff as well. So grade 9 is a lot of just enfolding kids into the community of learning. For some kids that happens in grade 10, so we get transfer students throughout every year. So sometimes that happens a little later. And in grade 9, we would have a number of activities that are very intentional about enfolding kids. So we would have what we call Niner Fest, where we have a series of events, just fun events that help kids get connected. We do a number of trips with our kids as a school, and those are educational trips, but they're also focused at helping kids create connections with other kids and helping them understand how they fit. Grade 9, we will also introduce kids to the broad array of co-curricular activities they have. We have found that kids who get involved in a variety of activities tend to be more engaged in the school, and even in terms of their success in the classroom, that increases when they are more engaged in co-curricular activities and the life of the school. So that grade 9 is probably a significant focus on that. Some of that continues in grade 10. Always, we try to ensure that teachers are providing an engaging and interesting environment in the classroom. We encourage a variety of different strategies, pedagogies to ensure things don't get stale. And so you will find a high focus on academic achievement through grades 10, 11, and 12. I think one of the significant differences that you will see, particularly among some of our senior students, is the number of students that find ways to lead in this community. So that could be through student government. It could be through our student ambassador program. It could be through our robotics reading, our arts magazine, or our yearbook. We have a number of senior students who do leadership credits in some of the junior classes. I think leadership development for our young people has been a significant priority for us. And so you will see grade 12s working very hard at their courses and yet finding other ways to contribute to the community in meaningful ways. And for me, that's one of the most exciting things, to work alongside kids, because we have tried to make sure that when they lead, they're making decisions on very important things. Our student government has a significant budget to run events, run activities, and they are responsible for maintaining that, tracking that. We're trying to give them a real life experience in terms of leadership, and that has been so much fun to watch. Teachers who come here tend not to want to leave. So just staff turnover doesn't happen that frequently. We hire new teachers because of growth positions primarily. Once teachers are in and they've experienced the culture of the school, community and culture has been a high priority for us. And when they begin to experience that, there's very few teachers who want to leave. Sometimes people leave because circumstances in life require that of them. But we have people pretty committed to the institution and excited about working in this context. So yeah, that's good, I think. I would be content to put up almost any teacher to say, yes, these teachers embody the values of our school. And part of that is because I think in our at the beginning of our year, we identify what are the values of this place. When we talk about setting a good culture, what does that look like? How do we do that? So I have a lot of teachers who embody the values of the school. I also have that with students. I work with the ambassador team, which is mostly a group of students who connect with the outside community. So when I have families come in, they do tours. They visit elementary schools to do presentations on what the school is like. So they're very much outwardly focused. And I would be happy that, like, these kids really embody the values of the school. Our goal of equipping students for lives of Christian service, faith and service, they are clear examples of that. And I think you plan to interview perhaps some alumni, and I think you'll get a sense of that. High school is interesting because kids leave and then they go to university, which is some of the most formative parts of their lives. And but it is significant how many kids come back on a regular basis. We do try to survey all our grads after they've been out for 6 to 8 months, just to get feedback on how did we do? Were you prepared for the next step of your journey? How are your university and college courses going? What areas can we improve? So we do try to get that feedback. But even in terms of some of our co-curricular programs, we have some of our students who come back to help coach. We have a robotics team that's been very successful, and we have a number of alumni that continue to stay involved there, even while they're involved in their university programs. We just participated in the provincial championships for robotics, and I know that while we were participating, there was groups of alumni from around the province in little pods watching what was happening in regards to our team. So I think there's a lot of our efforts to create a positive school culture translate into a continued commitment and interest in the school itself. I think that has happened. In some ways, I can't say that. I know that when, like, probably 15, 20 years ago, the typical student would be one who was a university bound. It was a highly academic university training kind of program. And I think there's still strong emphasis on academic rigor, but we have also seen a much more significant diversity develop over the last 15 years in programs. So we provide programs for a broader range of students, and I think we're way better at attending to individual needs. Our programs have developed, so we have more opportunities for college stream and hands-on learning, and kids benefit from that. We've also have simply more programs. We have a drama team, a drama program that has grown significantly, art program, music program. We now have some technology courses, including construction technology. As I indicated earlier, we have a robotics team. Those are all things that have developed and have welcomed a broader range of students. So I'm not sure who doesn't fit at this point. There are occasions when the learning needs are so significant, we will meet with the family and have a conversation about whether it's the right fit, because we have no funding, government funding, that is. So sometimes when kids come with dramatic learning needs that we can offer, we will try to be honest with them upfront and say, we don't have the resources to deal with this. culture is sometimes hard to define, but when you walk into a place, you feel it. And I think a positive culture develops when students and teachers, when there's connection, when people feel a sense of belonging in a place, when relationships become more familiar, more respectful, more compassionate. Those are the things that develop in a school where there's a positive school culture. And I would say, and of course I'm paid to say this, but I think if you talk to our kids, and when I hear our ambassador team talk, they talk about the value of relationships from kids in grade 9 with kids in grade 12. They experience some connection there. It's been more difficult clearly with COVID, where we've been forced to cohort, but the things that they remember is the relationships they have, not just within their grade, but across the grades. They also talk very highly of their relationship with teachers. Sometimes that's in, I am struggling with a personal issue in my life, and I know that there's a person I can go to. Sometimes it is, we just share interests with the teacher, and so we will have a conversation about that. And so kids, and also in regards to academic work, kids feel highly supported in their work. Our basic position is that teachers can never blame students for lack of success. Ultimately, kids' success is the priority of the school, the administration, and the teachers. And so when you have that understanding, it changes the relationships that we have with students. It's not a position where, well, I've done my job and now it's up to the students. It's a collaborative effort to find success and to learn. So it's not just about teaching, it's what are kids learning that I think is the priority for us. I think that's one of the things that people love about a school like Woodland, is the opportunity for connection with teachers and students is significant. Again, COVID has challenged that, because we haven't been able to allow people into the school the same way. But last night we just had parent-teacher interviews, and the opportunity for parents to have access to teachers, to find out what's going on with their kids, and to partner with them in the learning process has been outstanding. And that's not limited to parent-teacher interviews. That, I think, is a regular part of the identity of the school. Parents are involved. Parents want to be involved. We have a volunteer program specifically because parents want connection with the school. We have a hot lunch program at lunch, and we have no problem staffing getting volunteers to staff that program. I think it's probably one of the strengths of a school like this, where parents feel like they have something to say. Parents feel like they have a voice. Of course, they don't determine the curriculum. They don't make the decisions, but they feel like they have input in what happens in this place. High expectations for student conduct. So when kids come in here, they know, when you're a student in this place, here are the expectations we have for you. And then we have a staff, I think, that understands those expectations and is present in the hallways, in the auditorium, in the gym regularly. They don't close themselves off in classrooms and consider their job to be done when the kids leave the classroom. They are out in the hallways, they're engaged. And I think that that helps maintain a positive culture, and it reinforces the values and expectations that we have for kids. And then even then, sometimes kids do things that they don't stay within, they don't stay on track sometime. And so then we, as an admin team and as a staff, tried to find restorative ways to encourage better behaviors in some cases, more harmony in some cases, a better understanding of others in some cases. I think for the most part, we try to deal with those issues restoratively. Sometimes we'll welcome parents into that conversation. Whatever way that we think we can have a formative impact and achieve positive results in the lives of our kids, that's what we're looking for. Of course, sometimes there's punishment, but there's a place for that all the time. But ultimately, we're looking for kids to be brought back into community, because that defines what we're about. Character. It's one of the things that we highlight as a graduate profile. I think creativity. If you walk around the school, the variety of things that kids are doing and the different ways they're problem solving, I would say creativity. I think there's a sense that their faith matters. And that's represented in the way they lead in assemblies and in a variety of activities that kids choose to engage in. So we're unique. Our kids say we're in the middle of nowhere. We're surrounded by farmland and forests. So the kids say we're in the middle of nowhere, but we're in the middle of everywhere, because we're surrounded by larger urban communities like Kitchener, Waterloo, Cambridge, and Guelph. Those are all within 15 minutes of us. And then we also draw from more rural areas that are further away from the school, Drayton, Listowel, Baden, and those kind of communities. So that actually affects the character of the school and gives us a little bit more diversity. Sometimes some people describe us as a rural school, and yet we have very much an urban component to it. So we're not sure what we are in that regards. The school itself has gone through a number of phases of growth. So 15 years ago, we had about a population of just about 200 students. Now we're closer to 325. We've been up to 340. And so there has been some growth. And some of the biggest changes that have been made in regards to the physical plant is just creating spaces for students to meet together. So we have an auditorium, cafeteria, a larger library. We've tried to make some of our classrooms more flexible learning spaces for students to engage in a variety of different kind of learning styles. We recently did, well, I guess it's not that recent anymore, an additional large addition that included a new gymnasium. The old gymnasium is used for different spaces now. And we've been able to do some more specialized rooms, technology rooms that can be used. Our art facilities have dramatically changed over that time. So that's all been very exciting. It just feels like there's more space in the building at this point. I guess the one piece of advice that I think is critical for families is you can read a lot on a school website. You can get a lot of information, but it's more difficult to get a sense of how the place feels. For kids to thrive in an educational environment, they need a sense of belonging, and they need to see, I can fit there. And my experience is that happens when you're in the building itself. You get a sense of what it feels like. You get to observe how kids interact with each other. You get to observe how teachers interact with the kids, how they interact with each other. So I would say, as much as possible, parents and the students, maybe more importantly, the students should find opportunity to visit the school. I know at our school, we offer what we call shadow days. So prospective students, they are they're given a current student to hang out for the day. They go to classes. They get a clear way to observe how things go. In some cases, they meet kids that they will know the next year if they choose to attend. And those have been meaningful ways for kids to get a real sense of what the school is about. Like I can tell, like part of my job is recruitment. And so I can tell families, this is the best place. This is where you need to be. But in some ways, there's a lack of authenticity there because I'm paid to do that, and I benefit from that. When they're there for a day at school, it's completely authentic. You can't fake that. And so I would encourage families to find ways to get into the place, into the school, to see if there's a consistency between what they articulate as values and priorities and what actually happens there.
For more information about this school, you can visit their profile at ourkids.net.